Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Trisha, the Inky Planner, and I am just sitting down ready to plan out another week in my A5 using my vertical plan to create inserts. So I thought I would flip on the camera and film another plan with me. I actually filmed this a while back and just getting around to editing it. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. So I'm going to speed up the video here, and I thought I would do some ink blending today. So I need my masking tape and some distress inks and some of my ink blending tools. I'm going to start by just masking off the main area of my A5 sheet. And I'm just kind of tearing the masking paper in half so that I've got some nice clean edges to go all the way around. And I am starting at the top with some Tumbled glass ink. And I'm just kind of priming up my applicator and lightly adding just a little bit of color along the top, maybe the top third of my page. And it's almost hard to see until you peel back that masking tape, but then when you do, you can see you really do have a nice little layer of the pale blue. So then I'm going to move on and put my darkest blue down at the bottom of the page. And I'm just using some circular motions and really light pressure. I don't want to get like big blobs of color. I just want it to kind of be a nice little fade. And then my third color is the Peacock feathers, and I'm just adding a little bit of that in the middle just to give me a little gradient of blues from sort of a pale blue through to a greenish blue and darker at the bottom. So you can see when I peel back that masking tape, I get a really nice, pretty crisp line all the way around. And it's just something different. I like to have a little color in my background sometimes. And then my whole page kind of comes to life. I like that. So I'm going to repeat the process over on the other side. I won't make you watch all that. And then I'm going to dive right in to my lists, my to-do lists. And I just showed that stamp set from Studio L2E, and I'm going through my ink swatches to pick a color. I want this to kind of fade right into the background, so I chose this Surf Blue from Simon Says Stamp, and it just gives me a faint set of lines. Excuse my head as I try to line up my stamps, and of course I still got it a little bit wonky, but I've got some nice faint lines in there for my to-dos, and then these headers from Planner Kate. And I wanted to keep this like very monochromatic. I wanted to stay with this sort of bluish teal green theme throughout. So I'm choosing my colors to sort of alternate across the week. And I just do this for my weekdays. I don't do it for Saturday and Sunday. I try to keep that a little bit more loose, but I put my to-do headers right across the top, and as I said, I alternated the two colors. Now I've chosen this sticker from Scraptastic Club for a big event that I have on Wednesday, which is a luncheon, so I thought that would be a nice way to draw some attention there. And a little washi tape. Sorry, I got off screen there for a second, or out of frame. But a little washi tape to divide up the space. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, my daughter is in preschool, and I love these cute little pencils from Planner Kate. They're like my favorite little way to designate her preschool. Oh my gosh, and then these little adorable Libby & Co. stickers are tiny little ballerinas, and my youngest has dance class. And so I used those on top of a Planner Kate label sticker to mark her dance class on Monday. And it's super cute, those little ballerinas, and she has some gymnastics girls, but you can pick whether they're blonde or brunette or whatever and kind of customize them. My little one's a brunette, So on Monday there, I added just another label sticker with a volleyball for my playoff game, and then I've written in the times on the little pencils for my daughter's preschool, which never changes, but I just stick it in there to remind me drop off and pick up times. Now I'm using another solid Scraptastic label on Tuesday, and I'm kind of bouncing around between my days. I'm just referencing my online iCal calendar in the background off camera, and I'm just kind of bouncing around and looking at what I have going on this week. So as I said, on Tuesday I used that label sticker and then a tiny tennis icon stamp from Studio L2E, and marked off that I have my tennis league on Tuesday mornings. Now I've got this tiny little star, and I think that's from a Scraptastic kit. I'm going to have to check that. I have a handful of tiny little stars, and some of my teeny icons that I use over and over, I don't even put them back in their original sets. I use them so much that I leave them on a little tray, like right in front of me on my desk. So I'm going to have to figure out where that one came from. But I just used that on Wednesday to mark that I am bringing my daughter to a babysitter for the day while I go to that luncheon that I mentioned. And here I am putting in the details of that luncheon, which is takes up a big chunk of the day, which is why I kind of wanted a large, prominent sticker for that. And it's a holiday lunch, so I thought I would put this cute little Christmas tree. This is from Tailored Expressions, from their Clearly Planned line. And I'm just stamping this on some scratch paper, I shouldn't say scratch paper, excuse me, on some white cardstock. I use Nina Solar White cardstock for my Copic coloring. So I'm stamping it in Memento ink so that I can give it a quick color with my Copic markers. And here I am choosing some colors, and I'm kind of course I'm going green for the Christmas tree, but I'm kind of going with a bluish green to tie into the background. So I'm using YG03 at sort of the bottoms of each of these little triangles, and then YG17 as my mid color, and the BG, that bluish color, BG18, as my darkest. I'm just going back and forth a little bit and adding a little brown for the trunk and a little yellow for the star. And then I'm going to just fussy cut this out. I like to trim these right up against that little black line. So I'll cut this out. And then I will adhere this. I usually use either my Stampin' Up! Or my little Zig two-way glue pen, and adhere this right onto my page. And I love how cute these tiny little images are, and without adding a whole lot of bulk, you still get like a little feel of dimension. I do take a black marker, usually I use my Stampin' Up! Marker, and run it along the edge of my images, just to kind of make sure that that line looks nice and clean. So there, I've decorated my little holiday luncheon event. So I mentioned before about these sweet stickers from Livy & Co., how you can pick the color of the hair, and here are the gymnastics ones. And my other daughter, who is a little blondie, she has gymnastics on Wednesday night, so I've picked a little gymnastics sticker there to mention that. And then I'm back to the same little rectangular label stickers from Scraptastic on Thursday, because I have a meeting on Thursday morning, and I'm using this little meeting stamp from Tailored Expressions just to give a little header to that. And this is from the Work Smart set, and then I can kind of jot down the details of my meeting. And I almost always use my slim, like the 0.38 slim frixion erasable pen, just because things tend to change around a lot in my weeks, and I always feel more comfortable with something that I can erase, clean, and move it around. I can write on labels on any sort of surface, and I like the feel of that pen. I love it. So I've added a little weekend sticker, again sticking with that monochromatic sort of blue-green theme. And then I've also added an event sticker on Saturday. All of those come from the Scraptastic Plan On It kits. And then that same star that I used over on Wednesday, I was going to put that on the Saturday sticker, but then I found this super cute little, I guess he's a raccoon, And it was in the same color family, and we have a black tie event, and he's wearing a cute little bow tie, and I just thought it just sort of went. It was really cute, so I stuck that instead of the star. I stuck that over the little circle on that event sticker, and I wrote in the details for our black tie event, and then put a little note that I'm getting my hair done ahead of time. So layered a couple more labels on Friday for our Friday evening activities. And again, just sticking with that blue-green theme. Those labels are all from Scraptastic as well. And I love the look of layering when you put a couple on top of each other. Even though you're not adding bulk, like I said before, you're still getting a feel of dimension. It's just a little trick to kind of add some more interest into your page. These little cupcakes are from Tailored Expressions. They're from their Best Day Ever kit, and they're super cute. I stamp a whole bunch of these in Memento ink on a piece of Neenah Solar White, and I leave them sitting on my desk because I use them all the time for birthdays. And that way, when I go to plan out a week and I have a birthday, all I have to do is grab the stamped ones, color them in a color scheme that matches my page, and cut it out. So that's just a little time saver. Instead of having to re-stamp them every time, I just get them kind of teed up and ready to go, and then all I've got to do is pick my colors. So I've done that, colored them with my Copics, done the same outlining trick, and there I've got a cute little, and I'm using my same Zig glue pen, but I've got a cute little cupcake because we have a birthday. And the little stem on my cherry there, it was just too tiny to cut out, so I just glued it down without it and then just drew that in with a pen. There's no way I was going to be able to cut around that. So I love how that, again, adds a little dimension, and it kind of covers the lines of the background, and I like to have things kind of go off the edges, especially when I've done this ink blending trick. I like to have things kind of go off the edges because it moves your eye around the page, and I think that that ends up looking a little bit more interesting. So I've written in the name of the birthday, and now I'm thinking about the my water tracking. I've got these adorable little water glasses from Symposi Press, and I'm looking at some other options from Scraptastic. I think I end up going with the water droplet trackers from Scraptastic on this set, or on this spread. I'm just kind of flipping through to see what feels better to me. But I end up using the long little droplets, and I've got a couple of them in coordinating colors here, so I'm going to put those right along the bottom, and that's going to allow me to track my water intake throughout the week, which is something I'm trying to do. I kind of alternate some colors. I've pulled out one of my very favorite washis. I've talked about this in other videos, but my Studio Calico sort of wider, tiny Swiss polka dot washi tape. It just goes with everything. It's a nice subtle pattern, adds some interest, but doesn't overwhelm you. So I pulled that out and put a little along the bottom, and now I am figuring out how I'm going to head up my page, and I chose this awesome Playful Alphabet from Tailored Expressions and a coordinating blue ink, and I am just stamping out the word November here. And as I mentioned, this video was shot a while back, and I just didn't get around to editing it. And I started with the R and moved my way backwards because I wanted it to sort of be lined up with the inside edge on my page. And then I'm going to stamp December on the other side because this is the last week of the month and we move into December by the end of the week. So I wanted those two words to be kind of tight in on the inside borders of my page. And then I can take that same polka dot washi and use it for the outside edges to sort of add some continuity and match it up with the bottom edge of the page. I love this alphabet. I just think it's so sweet. It's the perfect size for the top of my planner pages, and it's playful without being too childish. I just think it's a really sweet font, and I use that one all the time. So I was thinking I was going to put these little arrows up there, but I think I end up taking it right off and decide against it because I just liked that it was clean and that black was a little too stark. So I'm just going to finish off my washi along the bottom and trim that off on the sides. And I think at this point I'm done with the events for the week. So I want to just find some decorative elements, and then of course I have to stamp in my dates across the top. So I'm flipping through some of my stamps and some of my sticker stash, and I think I come up with sort of a full box-ish sticker and some other kind of, again, in my blue-green theme. Looking through, I've got my stickers off to the side, and I'm pulling out to see what I have that coordinates, and I find this cute one that is from the Simple Stories Carpe Diem set, and a little planner, because on Sunday I usually plan out my following week. And then I have these sweet numbers that came from the October kit from the Scraptastic Club, Plan on It, and I'm going to use those across the top eventually here too. So I am just stamping Plan on top of that sticker, and I got a little white space where the edge of the sticker met the paper, and so I just filled that in with a little fine tip marker so that you could read that a little bit better. And that Plan stamp came from Tailored Expressions. Oh, I did end up switching. So I did end up switching over to the Felicity Jane numbers to stamp in my dates. And again, I think I went with that same soft surf blue ink that I used for my checklists, just to have a subtle, barely have any contrast with the background and have my dates be real subtle. So I'm just stamping in the end of November, and then obviously on Friday you can see it switches over into December. And what I love about these stamps is that they are grouped together, so you don't have to stamp like the 2 and the 9 separately. You can stamp them just once, and they're perfectly spaced and lined up well, and they look great on your page. And they happen to fit perfectly into my inserts. So I found another cute little heart sticker, and since I had a tiny bit of pink in those pencil erasers and that little ballerina girl, the pink heart kind of matched up with that, and the yellow heart matched up with the yellow star and the blonde gymnast. So it pulled a teeny pop of color from my blue-green theme. So that finishes up my week. You can see here a shot of the after the pen, after I finished up the week and I've written in all my to-dos and what it ends up looking at after I fill everything in. But I hope you enjoyed that process so that you can kind of see how I bounce around and pull all this stuff together and where my head is. Thanks for joining me. I hope this was inspirational and that you had some fun, and I will see you next time.